Just a couple days left in August. Time for some call-ups. Hi there. Welcome to the Fantasy Hitting Planner. Lauren Shehadi, Scott White. It's almost September, Scott, which means we're going to see some rookies coming up.
Yeah.
What does that mean for fantasy owners?
Well, the one thing I wouldn't want to do right now is rip apart your roster looking for the next big thing, because chances are if you play in a 10 or 12 team mixed league, which is the usual kind, the people you'd want are already taken or they've already been called up. So I think you're better off taking a wait-and-see approach, see who actually gets at-bats and see who's actually going to do something with those at-bats, because fantasy playoffs isn't a time to play around.
All right, well, let's see who you have starting and sitting. Let's start behind the plate. John Baker, he has decent power, but he's sitting too often now with Paul LaDuca on the team. Pablo Sandoval, he's nice average there.
Yeah, he's a young guy, 22 years old. The Giants are finding places for him to play either behind the plate, at first base, or at third base, and he's hitting well over 300 so far.
All right, hitting for power, Adam LaRoche at first base. He's hit 3 home runs since returning from the DL in mid-August. He's not quite as hot as he was before the DL stint, but he's worth starting. Mike Jacobs, you're saying not worth starting.
Yeah, Jacobs has been hitting so poorly right now that the Marlins now have him in a platoon with Wes Helms, moving Jorge Cantu over to first and playing Helms at third. Platoon situations spelled death for players in head-to-head leagues.
All right, second base, you don't have starting Rickie Weeks. He might play more often with Ray Durham nursing a shoulder injury, but with a batting average below 230, you can't expect him to do anything good for your fantasy team. Mark DeRosa, he has a hot bat right now.
Yeah, DeRosa's 33 years old. He's been steadily improving over the last few seasons, though, and with 4 home runs in the last week, I think it's time we have to start looking at him as a power hitter, believe it or not.
How about the bat on Ty Wigington, Scott? His home runs just won't stop. With 2 Friday, he has 10 in August. He looks like a must-start. Andy LaRoche, not a must-start.
No, LaRoche is kind of a disappointment because he hasn't fared very well with everyday at-bats, and for the second straight season now, he's just totally laying an egg at the major league level. It's really awful.
All right, shortstop Escobar, he's hitting near 300 in August, a decent stopgap since he qualifies at several positions. Nomar sitting on the bench.
Yeah, Nomar is a guy who, if you put up with injuries from him time and time again, you only do so because you expect him to put up the numbers. So right now, since he doesn't have the numbers, why is he worth your trouble? He's really just an NL-only option.
All right, Jay Bruce, not worth the trouble either in outfield. You're saying he's a rookie, he offers decent power, not much more. He struck out 4 times for every walk. Mike Cameron, worth it.
Yeah, Cameron's having a monster August, and with his career track record, you know he's a guy he could cool off at a moment's notice, but with the numbers he's putting up right now, you have to start him. You have to.
You have to. And you have to come back because we're talking more after that on the other side. Stick around. Welcome back to the show. The Tampa Bay Rays are hot. Evan Longoria is back. What do you do? Do you start him? He was hot before his injury.
Yeah, I really don't think you want to start him just yet, because manager Joe Maddon has come out and said he's not sure he's going to play every day even when he does come back. They just want to be careful with this fractured wrist, which isn't totally healed, because if a piece of the bone breaks off, he's going to end up needing surgery. You're looking at a serious injury. And Willie Ibar's still playing well, so you have to think maybe Longoria will get part-time at-bats.
It's hard to sit a stud like Longoria, but you're saying sit him.
Just a little longer.
Just for a little longer. All right, behind the plate, we're starting with Pudge Rodriguez. He's only played about half the time since coming over from the Tigers. He's not worth using without regular at-bats. Jason Varitek, he's coming around, Scott.
Yeah, he is. He was falling off the face of the earth at the beginning of the season, putting up terrible, terrible numbers, but he has 3 home runs in the last week.
Carlos Pena, same thing. He's doing well. He looks kind of reborn, Scott. He has 13 home runs already in the second half after hitting 14 in the first. Paul KONERKO, a little fall off there.
Yeah, well, he's starting to hit a little more like himself again lately in the second half, playing a little more often because of it. But until the White Sox actually come out and say, yes, this guy is our everyday first baseman, you have to expect regular at-bats. And that's death in head-to-head leagues, as I said about Jacobs.
Jose Lopez is batting. He's batting for power. He's doing well. Since he was slumping in mid-August, he's gone on kind of a streak. He's one of the Mariners' few fantasy-relevant players. ALEXI CASILLA, we're sitting him, huh, Scott?
Yeah, he's come back from his thumb injury, which is good, but he was probably playing a little over his head before he went on the DL. Without the home runs and stolen bases, he's really just an AL-only option.
His teammate, Brian Busher, you're saying sit him as well. He can't solidify an everyday job. He's not worth your trouble. As a part-time player, Melvin Mora on the list again.
Yeah, second straight week, but he's not starting in every league yet. So I feel like I have to say this. He has more home runs than Evan Longoria, who we mentioned earlier, and one less than Aramas Ramirez. So he's the guy you got to get active in all leagues. It's just another reminder.
Carlos Guillen, not the same thing. You want to sit him. He's sitting out his second stint with back spasms. Even if he returns, you can't trust him to stay in the lineup. Arias, he's taken over at second now, right?
Yeah, at second. He's starting in place of Ian Kinsler at second base and should steal a decent number of bases and score a lot of runs batting atop that loaded Texas lineup.
Ooh, nice one there.
Yeah.
Jacoby Ellsbury, he's not doing so well. He's kind of in a slump. He's struggling in the second half of August. He's added competition in Mark Kotze. Vernon Wells, he's doing well now, right?
Yeah, he is doing a lot better. His disappointing season looks much better after he hit 4 home runs in 3 games in the last week. Again, he looks like a guy you want to start in all leagues.
Scott, appreciate it. Thanks so much for your advice.
All right.
And thank you for watching. We will see you next week. Good luck.